Hello everybody, I'm Skip Alsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films, and sometimes we watch old film strips. And these are not 16mm, these are 35mm. So I cheat sometimes, but I hope you're okay with it. Yeah, these don't have soundtracks, so the challenge is try to figure out what sound should I put on them. And right now I'm using a projector sound, which is not really correct, but I just want to give something so people aren't like, is there any sound to this? I can't hear any sound. Anyways, would appreciate your suggestions. And again, there's no soundtrack. And also, doing a beep, it's not going to work. It's too hard. To make it accurate, which means I would spend most of my time putting beeps on these silent film strips and not digitizing more films. Alright, space science for beginners. Enjoy.
Where does space begin? What's in space? Well, Randy knows that the sun is in space. And the moon's in space, too. And at night, Randy can see the stars. They're in space. Randy also knows that the Earth is in space. But the Earth is so big. We can see the Earth better if we move away from it. Higher and higher we go. It is getting cooler as we go up. The air becomes thinner and thinner as we go higher and higher, until at about 60 miles up, where we say space begins, there's almost no air. The Earth is a planet in space, and the moon is a satellite of the planet Earth. The moon travels in space, or revolves, around the Earth. It takes about 1 month for the moon to make one revolution. The Earth, with its moon, revolves around the sun. The time it takes the Earth to make one revolution is called a year. 8 other planets besides the Earth also revolve around the sun. Each is a satellite of the sun. The sun is a star, our star, but it is only one of billions upon billions of stars. Stars and planets and moons are in space. Now, let's go back to Earth and see how we can travel in space. Can we use an airplane to get into space? An airplane engine needs oxygen from the air, and we know there isn't any air in space. But we all know that we can get into space with rockets. Rocket engines don't need oxygen from the air. They carry oxygen with them in their fuel. How does the engine make a rocket move? This balloon filled with gas will show us. These arrows mean that the gas is pushing against the inside of the balloon in all directions. If we opened the bottom and let the gas escape, it would not push against the bottom of the balloon anymore. But because the gas is still pushing up at the top, well, watch what happens. The balloon keeps moving up until most of the gas has rushed out of the balloon. Then the balloon comes down. Things that go up usually come down. You can kick a football as hard as you like. And what happens? it comes down. Things that go up come down because of gravity. The Earth's gravity pulls everything toward the center of the Earth. Gravity pulls on a parked car, and at the other side of the Earth it pulls on a kangaroo. Gravity is holding this model rocket down. When the fuel is ignited, gases will rush out, just as they rushed out of the bottom of the balloon. Now the rocket is ready to be launched. The boy and his father won't stay too close. That's the safe way. 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off. The model rocket moves faster and higher than the balloon did because gases are being pushed out of it with greater force and for a longer time. After a short flight, the rocket is pulled back to Earth. To make a rocket go into space, we need one that carries more fuel. We need a large rocket, like this one. The rocket leaves the Earth. Soon its motion is changed so it will follow a path around the Earth. If the rocket has another section or stage, the fuel of the second stage may be ignited to make it travel even faster while the first stage falls away. The second stage of the rocket continues traveling in a path or orbit around the Earth. We can now call it a satellite, an artificial satellite of the Earth. The motion of a satellite is something like the motion of a ball on a string. As long as we hold the string and keep the ball moving at the proper speed, the ball goes around and around in orbit. Now let's stop a moment and think about the orbit of any satellite. Gravity pulls on the satellite. As long as the satellite moves at the proper speed, gravity will keep it in orbit. The satellite can stay in orbit for a long time. There are many different satellites now in space. There are satellites that help broadcast radio and television signals all over the world. There are satellites that take photographs. And there are satellites that measure temperature. The different satellites of different sizes and shapes orbit the Earth along different paths. And, of course, astronauts have orbited the Earth, too. Here is one getting into a spacecraft. The spacecraft is launched by a rocket. Astronauts have gone outside their spacecraft and walked in space. They have seen the Earth from space. And they have returned to Earth in their spacecraft. We use rockets not only to orbit satellites and men, but also to launch other spacecraft and men for more distant trips, as for a trip to the moon. Just as the Earth pulls things toward it, so does the moon. As a spacecraft gets closer to the moon, the pull or attraction between the moon and the spacecraft will become greater. This pull can be used to make the spacecraft either land on the moon or orbit it. Here we see the path the spacecraft from Earth follows as it lands on the moon. And here is a photograph of the moon, taken by a camera on a spacecraft. This is a photograph of part of the planet Mars, taken from a spacecraft. Many new adventures lie ahead in space, such as placing a very large space station into orbit around the Earth. This is a plan for a space station. Here is where the spacemen scientists live. Here is where experiments with animals can be done. From such a space station high above the Earth, an astronomer can study the stars. A weatherman can forecast the weather. Here is the way clouds look when you're several thousand miles from Earth. From the space station, small space capsules would carry spacemen back to Earth. Back to where Randy has been reading about space. Will Randy take a trip into space someday? Perhaps he will.
Sorry, it won't. It's not going to happen. Because the space program is going to be like, woo, and then whoop, and then woo. Okay. That's pretty great. I love, again, visions of our space future, diagrams of how things will be like in space. We're going to go back now in time with our good friend Jack Palance. Enjoy.
Emerging from an arid landscape, dark shapes, monoliths, eroded through centuries by elemental forces, silhouetted between earth and sky. Winds from the south sweep over this barren expanse, carrying with them precious moisture to the north. Stone pillars stand over a world that is hostile to life. Yet, across the desert floor an ancient people went, searching for water that meant survival. Their footprints have long since been erased. The rocks bear no mark of a people's passage. Yet, hidden away in the high plateau to the north, silent cities stand. Here, the clouds release precious rain on the mesa tops, nurturing forests of juniper and pinon. In Mesa Verde, this ancient people found their home. Into the protection of massive caves, they built their cities of sandstone rock more than 7 centuries ago. Though the people have vanished, vestiges of their culture remain. Today the city is silent, yet through the empty ruins a grandeur still endures. The rooms, plazas, and ceremonial chambers were built for permanence, yet they were used for only 100 years. Why? Who were these people? Pottery has been discovered. Preserved by the dryness of the caves are mugs so perfect They seem to have been left behind only yesterday. The designs are bold and clear. An image of a deer. A fragment of a bowl decorated with a tropical bird. A seashell from the Pacific inlaid with turquoise chips are clues that the people were not isolated. And then we find the image of man himself drawn on the handle of a mug. A woman made this bowl 700 years ago, leaving behind evidence that a creative people once lived here. The great ruin echoes with a hollow sound, and the mystery remains. Why did man build this city so permanently, only to leave it after so short a time? Throughout the canyons, the people of the Mesa Verde searched for caverns and ledges to build their homes. Some decided to live in cities. Others settled in hundreds of small villages, each an independent community containing no more than a few people. Perhaps a clan of families would find a crevice well hidden in the sheer wall. The only way to stake their claim was a dangerous passage down the rock. Here they built 10 rooms and 2 kivas. A man could live his life and be buried inside the crevice wall. Under the lip of a mesa, a dwelling lies in ruins. Reaching out from the depths of the cave, a tiny plaza is walled off from the morning light. Rooms behind this wall reach back into the cave. Men crossed narrow walkways to get from room to room. Below, light strikes a smooth wall, revealing a perfect masonry. A fragment of another wall shows the placement of the stones. Perhaps this door was covered with skin, or closed with a thin sandstone slab. Light pierces into a kiva. The kivas, sunk against the cliff edge, tell us 3 clans share this narrow space. Life was confined to this hollow, except when the men surfaced to the mesa top, there to hunt deer and wild turkey and work their fields, while the women fetched water from the steep canyon below. Thus, life was lived in hundreds of small settlements scattered throughout the canyon walls. But a few large communities were the centers for this advanced culture. The story of their passing remains a mystery. What they call themselves, we will never know. For they left no written record to tell of life behind these walls. Now only the skeletal remains of that city survive. Moving past the sandstone walls and empty walkways, we imagine the sounds and sights of an active people. Probably there were never more than a few thousand people living in Mesa Verde at any one time. The spectacle disappears. Long shadows hide the signs of a time now past, and the valley is silent once more. A rugged, coarse land presented a harsh environment that was difficult to overcome. A wind that never ceased eroded their homes and caves. Boulders perched, ready to fall, and this people needed more than physical shelter. Evidence shows that the cliff dwellers were deeply spiritual. This T-shaped door may have had a symbolic importance. The Kiva entrance was the gateway to the spirit world beneath the earth. While women cooked and ground their corn on the plaza floor, the men would sit below, deep in discussion. There they may have decided to abandon the splendor they had built. Perhaps they found too oppressive the chilling winters which confined them to their hollow caves. Within the canyons they suffered through the cold and waited out the long winter months, hoping for the light of spring. Perhaps they were threatened by warring tribes to the north, or maybe they fell to quarreling among themselves. But the truth evades us, for there are no signs of violence. They were a peaceful people. Or perhaps it was the long drought at the end of the 13th century that compelled them to leave. One by one, the cities and villages were abandoned. By 1300, the exodus was complete. Moving south into the desert, they returned to a land their ancestors had crossed, searching for a place to live, and carrying with them the skills of their culture. Marks were left behind. Etched into smoke-gray patina of a huge rock, impressions celebrate the saga of an ancient people saying, "We were here." They fanned out, searching for other existing settlements. The pueblo of Old Oraibi stood long before the cave dwellings were built. Here people have lived continuously for more than 1,000 years. The ancestors of those who now inhabit these small dwellings probably witnessed the great exodus from the stone cities. Among them must be the direct descendants of the people of Mesa Verde. Walpi, the sacred Hopi village, was built more than 200 years after Mesa Verde was abandoned. Back onto the rock, the people finally settled. Others carried their skills further east to the Rio Grande. Acoma, the sky city, has retained its proud identity over the centuries. With roots embedded deep within the past, the cultures of these prehistoric towns echo back to the civilization that was the splendor of the silent cities.
Believe it or not. I mean, I know already in the comments you did that, but yeah, Jack Palance. He shows up in all sorts of crazy Italian horror movies I've discovered. I've been watching a bunch on Tubi, which is the streaming version of a UHF channel. Anyways, speaking of foreign language, let's find out what's going on with on the Toute, Bande.
C'est toujours ton vieux vélomoteur?
Oh, ça va.
On y va?
On y va.
C'est dimanche. Anne est venue chercher Caroline à la maison. Les deux jeunes filles sortent à vélomoteur. Elles vont au bois de Boulogne. Elles ont rendez-vous avec Jacques, ce jeune homme mystérieux de la Tour Eiffel. Anne ne connaît pas Jacques. Pas encore.
Tu sais, Caro, avec tout ce bruit, je n'ai rien compris. Recommence. Tu m'as dit sur la Tour Eiffel, un garçon. Oh la barbe! Qu'est-ce qu'ils font comme bruit? Oui, alors, ce garçon, ton copain.
Jacques? Il s'appelle Jacques.
Mademoiselle, voyons, le feu est au vert. Avancez.
Oh, pardon, monsieur.
Ah, trop tard, c'est au rouge. C'est bien fait pour lui. Bon, alors ce Jacques dont tu me parles, comment est-il?
Eh bien, il est très sympa, tu sais. C'est un type, comment te dire...
Et lui, qu'est-ce qu'il veut encore?
Mademoiselle, enfin, le feu est au vert. Dépêchez-vous.
Allons-y.
Allons-y.
Dis donc, quoi? Il a les yeux de quelle couleur?
Ses yeux, je ne sais pas, mais il est... Encore lui?
Mais enfin, mademoiselle, avancez. Vous voyez bien que la flèche est au vert.
Alors, mesdemoiselles, vous savez ce que c'est, un passage clouté? Oui.
Excusez-nous, mais...
Mais vous ne l'avez pas vu.
Mais...
Et moi, vous ne m'avez pas vu non plus, n'est-ce pas? C'est très simple. Pourtant, d'habitude, vous méritez une contravention. Mais cette fois, je ne vous la donne pas, cette contravention. Seulement attention, la prochaine fois, là...
Oh oui, monsieur l'agent.
Oui, oui, merci, monsieur
Bon,
l'agent.
allez, roulez.
Merci, monsieur l'agent.
Merci, monsieur l'agent.
Vite.
Et en silence.
C'est promis, monsieur l'agent.
Ah, cette jeunesse.
Dis donc, il est chic, l'agent, hein?
Anne, au silence.
la. La la la. La la la.
Attention, Anne, tu sais.
La la la. La la la. Ne t'en fais pas, ma vieille. La vie est belle. La la la. La la la. La la la.
Attention, Anne, à droite. Anne.
Oh, pardon, mademoiselle. Laissez-moi vous aider. Oh, que c'est bête. Vous n'êtes pas blessée, j'espère.
Non. Merci. Ah, mon Dieu, c'est vous, Jacques?
Oui, oui, c'est moi.
Eh bien, tenez, je vous présente Anne. Anne, voici Jacques.
Enchanté, mademoiselle. Jacques Ribaud.
Très heureuse, monsieur.
Oh, pardon, vous permettez. Ça va? Vous n'avez pas de mal?
Non, non, vraiment. Ça va mieux.
Et vous, vous n'avez rien?
Moi, je ne suis pas tombé. Mais les vélomoteurs, ils n'ont pas souffert?
Non, il n'a pas souffert. Pas du tout.
Tant mieux. Et le vôtre?
Non plus.
Alors tout va bien. Quelle curieuse coïncidence.
N'est-ce pas? Enfin, nous voici tous les trois. Allons faire notre promenade.
Oh oui, notre promenade au bateau.
C'est ça. En route pour le lac.
Attention, Caro, ne tombe pas dans l'eau.
Oh, ça va, ça va. Voilà, j'y suis.
Maintenant à vous, Anne. Doucement.
Aïe, 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 j'ai peur de tomber.
Mais non, mais non. Tenez-moi la main.
Merci, Jacques.
Ouf.
Alors, vous êtes bien installés toutes les deux? On y va?
On y va. C'est vous qui ramez?
Oui, oui, bien sûr.
Et vous savez ramer, Jacques?
Comment vous vous moquez de moi? Bien sûr, je sais ramer.
Oh, il faut. Oh, il faut. Oh, il faut. Oh mon Dieu, que c'est agréable. Que c'est agréable de ne rien faire.
Tu parles pour toi, il y en a qui travaillent ici.
Oui, c'est vrai, pardon, Jacques.
Oh, vraiment?
En tout cas, il n'y a pas de feu rouge ici.
Ni de passage clouté.
Et pas d'argent.
Mais doucement! Qu'est-ce que c'est que cette histoire de feu rouge, de passage clouté et d'argent?
On lui raconte, pourquoi pas? Eh bien voilà, pour venir à notre rendez-vous, nous avons pris la route. Ah, la belle promenade. Je me suis bien amusée.
Moi aussi. J'adore les promenades en bateau.
Eh bien, tant mieux. Moi aussi, je me suis bien amusé. Ouf! Mais j'ai chaud.
Oh, mais vous avez mal aux mains?
Un peu, oui, ce n'est rien.
Faites voir. Oh là là, vous avez des ampoules? Ça fait mal?
Non, je vous dis, ce n'est rien.
Vous êtes très courageux.
Oh.
Qu'est-ce qu'on fait maintenant?
On va prendre quelque chose dans un café, non?
Moi pas. Il est tard, je rentre à la maison.
Oh non, pas encore. Allons au cinéma.
Je veux bien. Mais en tout cas, rentrons dans Paris.
Écoutez, allons d'abord dans une pharmacie. Il faut vous faire penser les mains, Jacques. Vous ne pouvez pas rester comme ça.
Ce n'est pas grave. Mais enfin, si vous voulez. Allons-y.
Allez vous faire soigner, Jacques.
Vous assistez?
Oui, on insiste.
Bon, alors d'accord.
Dis donc, quelle bonne journée.
Mais qui a mal commencé.
Les feux rouges, l'agent.
La rencontre avec Jacques.
La promenade en bateau. Bon, moi je vais vous dire au revoir.
Comment, Caro? Tu ne veux pas aller au cinéma?
Si, mais vraiment, il est tard. Moi, je rentre à la maison. Maman m'attend.
Vrai?
Vrai.
Dommage.
Tiens, voilà Jacques. Ça a été vite fait.
Vous êtes contente? Eh bien, en effet, ça va mieux. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on fait?
Il est tard. Moi, je rentre à la maison. Maman m'attend.
Dommage. Eh bien, au revoir, Caroline. Merci pour la promenade.
Au revoir, Caro.
Au revoir, Anne.
À très bientôt, j'espère.
Au revoir, vous deux. Amusez-vous bien.
Dites donc, Anne, j'ai une idée. Le cinéma, c'est moche. Les films qu'on donne en ce moment sont... Allons danser?
Oh oui, j'adore danser. Mais où?
Je connais un endroit où on est vraiment bien. Un petit club tranquille. Très sympa. On y va?
On y va. Oh zut!
Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
Je n'ai pas de chance aujourd'hui. Regardez.
Regardez, il y a un commerçant qui vend des vélomoteurs là. Attendez-moi, je vais lui demander. Et vous dites que vous n'avez pas de chance aujourd'hui.
Alors?
Alors ça va, c'est réparé dans 2 heures.
Ah mais...
Ah, mais je vous invite, s'il vous plaît, mademoiselle.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur.
Tenez-vous bien.
Comme ça?
Oui. Vous croyez vraiment que nous n'avons pas eu de chance aujourd'hui? Vraiment?
I mean, these really do have the feel of these horror movies that I watch, these European horror movies that are set in the 70s, or that were shot in the 70s, and have young, carefree, young people doing fun things, and then something happens, and somebody gets brutally killed, and et cetera, et cetera. That's maybe that's why I'm drawn to this more than the Emile or I mean, I like the Chronique de France, but that's more like a newsreel segment, and this one just feels like at any moment somebody's going to be all bloody. All right. And oh yeah, allons-y. Allons-y, I know that it means let's go, and it is French, and I know that because it was my high school French textbook. Allons-y. ALLONSY. Exclamation point. Allons-y. That's all I remember. Okay. Very special man. This mid-60s, United States. It is made for people in the Navy, men in the Navy, trying to encourage them to stay in the Navy and learn about electronics. Enjoy.
Bob,
Huh?
the radio still doesn't play right.
Huh?
That's funny.
What's funny?
Well, a guy signs up for 6 years in the Navy, a zillion weeks of training in electronics, and still a gal can't get him to fix her radio.
I'll fix it before I leave.
Great. Dear Bob, thanks for fixing the radio. It was very nice of you. It plays just fine. I think you're a very special man.
It is pleasant to agree with an attractive girl. And in the case of Bob Wilson and hundreds more like him, the Navy does agree. These are very special people, filling very special needs. They are the ones who make it possible for today's ships to see, to speak, to hear, to compute, to fight with the weapons of modern war on or under the sea. Very special men indeed, members of the advanced electronic field, vital parts of the electronic nervous system of the modern Navy.
All hands to quarters for muster, inspection, and instruction. All hands to quarters for muster, inspection, and instruction.
All right, men, we've got division duty today. Jones, your ET duty. Division, and Toute.
Weapons Department, Old President County Force, sir.
Very well.
Police Department, Old President County Force, sir.
Very well. Gentlemen, the day we have been anticipating arrives tomorrow. You'll inform your leading petty officers that 0800 observers will arrive to conduct an operational readiness inspection. As you are well aware, an ORI is an annual competitive event used to grade us against other ships of our class. Cunningham is the best ship in the squadron. Let's prove it. Questions? Post.
Operational readiness inspection, the time when every area, every piece of equipment is measured against the unrelenting standard of combat readiness. When you and your team prove the day-by-day efficiency of your own efforts.
Martin, get up to the bridge and check out the captain's radar repeater.
Okay, right away.
You all set on the main power supply checkout, Graves?
Looks all right to me. Reads okay on the test equipment.
Good. Let's keep it that way.
And that's the way it goes. Here, and in the nerve center of it all, the Combat Information Center, where all the systems come together, where each serves the other, and all serve the total organism that is the ship itself.
Yes, Martin. What is it?
Maybe you better have a look at the captain's repeater yourself.
Something wrong?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's take a look. Looks all right to me.
It's just that it seemed to come up a little slow. That's all.
Well, it's nothing to sweat over, Martin. Is there something else on your mind?
I was wondering if you might have a little time when we're through with our checkout. It's a personal matter.
We're just about checked out. Coffee? On the mess deck. Say half an hour?
Fine.
Combat Information Center, where when the chips are down, the ship is fought from, where each electronic system feeds the others, and all together feed the demands of the ship itself to carry out its mission. CIC, where you and the other very special men, the ones able to analyze, test, repair, and maintain the electronic nervous system, find a man's place doing a man's job.
How you doing, Martin?
Thanks for coming down, Wilson.
Glad to be of help if I can. What's on your mind?
It's about my future in the Navy. When I enlisted, I figured on putting in 4 years and then getting out.
Yeah.
I had qualifying marks for the advanced electronics field, and my counselor even suggested it, but...
But 6 years seemed like a long time, right?
Right. But after working with the guys in the radar gang, I'd like to put in for the full treatment.
And you'd like to have some idea of what you're getting in for. Is that it?
Well, after all, you've been there.
In that case, let's begin in the beginning.
Okay.
If you had gone in at the time of your recruit training, Martin, you would have extended your 4-year enlistment to 6 years. Why? Because to develop the kind of man this Navy needs, that's the required time. As you know, you could come out wearing an electronic technician rating, like mine, a data systems rating, a fire control technician rating, or his missile counterpart. Whether you hack one of those, or instead a gunner's mate missileman rating, a rating as sonar technician, a missile technician, or finally a communications technician, the accent is on one word, technician. Not a glorified screwdriver mechanic or repairman, but a man qualified to use test equipment, to analyze a problem, and to make the necessary repairs or adjustments. And you get a top-flight education in electronics, one that you can't buy anywhere else in the world. Oh, yes. You get something else, too. Call it challenge. You'll get it first in your A-school instruction, all the way from initial theory to practical work. Most of it on the same kind of gear you'll find on shipboard. One thing you will learn, and fast. The men doing the teaching are men who have been there, through school, in the fleet, and most of them called back to instruct, the way I could be myself, or you could be, someday. They have only one goal in mind, to make you able to do one of the big jobs that this Navy needs done. They know that when the chips are down, your discipline, judgment, and knowledge are going to be the things upon which the skipper of the ship will often have to depend. And when you move on into your advanced schooling, you'll specialize in communications, or in data systems, the brains for all the other systems, or radar. You work with the same gear you find aboard ship, and you get the same kinds of problems, months of them. Use the test equipment to find the problem and analyze it. Study it out in the schematic. Get it operating again and again until you can do it in your sleep. Or the way we might have to do it in the ORI tomorrow, or in actual combat conditions.
Sounds like a rugged course.
It is, but it's well planned. Do your day's work every day and you stand a good chance. And you can go a lot further. From advanced school, you can move into one of the sea schools for training in specialized operations or maintenance. Another 8 to 16 weeks. So that when you are ready for the fleet, you have the finest electronic education available anywhere today. Slice it any way you want. You've got everything going for you. A career in the Navy, and an education good enough to put you well up the ladder if you should decide to go back to civilian life later on.
Bob could go on for quite a while, and if he did, here is one of the major points he would make, as made by the officer in charge of the school.
You men are here because you are the best the Navy has, the best the country has to offer. To answer the question, every one of you in this room who completes his work here and maintains a clean military record should be a first-class petty officer at the end of his 6-year enlistment. Some will make it sooner than that. The Navy is not only willing, but anxious to promote you. It has invested hundreds of millions of dollars into the finest electronic equipment. It needs men to keep it running as it was designed to run. You are those men. You can move up faster in this field than in any other field in the Navy. You may become eligible for a college program sponsored by the Navy leading to a commission. It might interest you to know that the majority of the officers in this school came up through the enlisted ranks. All of us, at one time or another, sat in a room such as this. And the opportunity is available to you. The only limitation is the limitation that you place on yourselves. You take on a big responsibility to yourself, to your shipmates, to your commanding officer, to the Navy, and to your country. You're going to work hard, because if you do,
you find out one thing, Martin, that nothing but yourself stands between you and any goal that you choose. More than anyone else, the Navy wants you to succeed.
Well, there's just one thing bugging me.
Yes?
Can I hack it? Can I make it?
I thought you were going to ask something new. Every man who begins the advanced electronic training course asks himself the same thing. You? Well, you've already shown through your test that you're qualified to join a select group of very special men. And if they've hacked it, there's no reason in the world why you shouldn't. Good luck.
People have a lot of names for ships, but to those who know and work them, a ship is an organism grown to do a special job. And the way that organism works depends on the men who work her. For without the men, a ship is a lifeless thing. With them, it is an eager, willing part of an overall capability called the Navy. To see where the ship is going is a primary requirement. with radar eyes here, backed up by other eyes here in the central nervous system, through which all information must flow from the air, from under the sea, from hostile and friendly elements in this operation. Information coordinated, used, and distributed to the entire organism.
Aye, aye, sir, right away. Martin! Yes? Stand by the phones. The bridge repeater's giving trouble.
Okay.
Electronic control, shifting phones.
You wish there had been no trouble, but as you move toward the bridge, you figure the problem, sort out the possible answers and alternatives. You wonder, is this a true breakdown, or is it a test set up by the inspectors? You will never know the answer to that one. You hope it is an adjustment. It is up to you to know. You have seen this before. It is an adjustment, not overhauled or repaired, and you work. And you work quickly and well. You know what you're doing. Once again, the ship has eyes to see with.
We'll function properly now, sir.
That was real fast service, Wilson. Thank you.
As the ORI wears on, the nervous system functions as it should. Seeing at long range, at intermediate range, at target range for approaching aircraft. Answering the attack problem with information computerized, calculated in microseconds to meet the airborne threat. Preparing to fight back through electronic information supplied by gunfire control. Bearing its weapons against undersea attack, sensed and calculated by the electronic nerves of the ship. And coordinating the maneuvers with other ships through the voice of electronics, radio. And when the operational readiness inspection is over, secure the gear, put it on standby. You know that your ship is ready to meet any situation. And you wonder if your ship will wear the Navy E for competence. Because if it does, you know that a lot of the credit goes to a team of very special men, electronics men, men with a great responsibility in today's and tomorrow's Navy, and opportunities even greater, opportunities open to you now, today.
We missed you at the beach this weekend. Everyone says hello. Thanks again for fixing the radio. I still think you're a very special man.
"1968. I was 2, and I think my dad was still in the Navy then. He was on an aircraft carrier, the Forrestal, and he was going through officer training when I was born. So he wasn't there when I was born, but he got a telegram. And my mother and I lived in Norfolk, and so my dad was doing a tour of the Mediterranean on the Forrestal. And then something horrible happened, with a horrible explosion and fire and lots of people getting killed. But my father was a very special man, but he didn't do electronics. He was just special. But yeah, I certainly know people who went to the Navy and took electronics or electrical engineering, and when they got out, they had amazing knowledge and jobs. So, because there's a lot of wires that run the Navy. Anyways, thanks for watching today. We appreciate your eyeballs. I think I figured out the problem with YouTube not listing these. Basically, there was this new thing which said unlist after stream ends. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, why would you unlist? So I think I fixed it. There's all this new little nitpicky stuff that happens, like this monetization thing that it was doing for some reason. All this nonsense. So I appreciate you bearing with me regarding all that. So join us tomorrow, Friday. We'll watch more films. It'll be great. Everybody take care.